Hello and welcome to your number one TV station, PACIS TV, Catholic TV, Pan-African TV station. The program is My Home Show, and as usual, my name is Ferry HT. Welcome once again to your program. Yeah, today we are going to discuss about parenting, positive parenting in digital world. To make today's topic and discussion lively, I had to invite Dr. Dennis Bikesha. Welcome.
Welcome to.
And once again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
The other time I invited you, you were a doctor, but now you are a professor.
Yeah.
How does it work from a civilian like me to doctor, from doctor to associate professor, from associate professor to professor, then to professor doctor? How does it work?
Yeah, those are academic ranks. So people work for them. Having a PhD does not necessarily make you a professor or associate professor. But after attaining PhD, then there are a series of things that have to happen in the academic area. And you'll find that those include publishing, include even these talks, if you have evidence for them, and many other things. So whatever you are doing for the society to gain knowledge, and sharing also skills is something that will make you also progress to another rank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the clarifications. Actually, Prof. Dennis is the former chairperson of the English community, Christ the King. Yeah, once again, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. We are going to be also with Celestine Awol. Celestine Awol, how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah. You are now catechist, you are analyst, journalist, only one. Congratulations.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, this is 2024. Yeah, and we are ready for the year.
Okay, good.
Yes, and all the titles.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I hope you started peacefully the new year.
Oh yeah, of course.
Wonderful. Were you in which part of the world?
I was out and about, but I wasn't so far. I was just still in East Africa. I went to Kenya, Nairobi. Yeah, that's where I crossed over.
But
the
most
new year.
importantly is that you are with actually the people of God.
People of God?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love God so much. Yeah, mostly. You will find me in such kind of groupings. Yeah. Church.
Yeah, church.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Like I said earlier, today's conversation is about positive parenting in digital world. The time I was preparing today's program, I had to consult different websites. Then I found a very interesting topic by Nicole Steins. This is a blog which she posted about Bible and parenting. So I may quote her. She said, "Right now, more than ever, we are in a battle for the hearts and the minds of our children, and it's a battle we must win." She was saying just this on behalf of the parents. Celestine, starting from you, there is a time I visited you in a class, the class of, that time they were around 50, right? Children.
Yeah.
50. So the children are actually the reflection of how the family is feeling, how the family is doing, whether they are in peace, whether they are in a trouble.
Yeah.
Do you agree with Nicole Stein that today we are in the battle, parents are in the battle, and the battle that they have to win?
Yes, because one thing we need to understand, being a teacher by profession, this is like my day-to-day interaction with kids of different ages and of different who comes from also different backgrounds. So the battle is out there, and most parents can concur with me on this, because as much as we are trying to do our best, there's economic part of it that is also withdrawing us as parents from our responsibility of parenthood. And there's this quote that I always tell parents every single day: it's easy to become a mother, it's easy to become a father, but it is hard for one to be a parent. If you understand what is that. Anybody can become a father, anybody can be a mother, but to be a parent, it's a call and it's a vocation on its own. Now, what do we mean by being a parent? Being a parent means that you as an individual, as a dad or as a mom, you have to be present in your children's life. Like, you have to be connected with them. You have to know what is happening in their day-to-day lives, of which you find most of us fail due to economical duty, a lot of things that are happening, because you want also to put some bread on the table, you want to get school fees, so we have to work. And sometimes some of us are in full-time jobs that can also interfere with our parenting. So these are the kind of things that we are battling today. You're trying, okay, if I stay home, then how will I provide for my children? And if I also go to work, I'm in a full-time job. For example, doctor here, I know, Professor Dennis, he's a lecturer in the university, and sometimes he's off Kigali. And believe me, wherever he is, he's thinking about the children he has left behind. So these are the kind of things you are trying to balance your day-to-day activity and parenting. So it becomes like a tug of war, because you want to meet all the needs of your children, and at the same time, you are struggling because you want to give them the best. You want to give them your attention. You want to ensure that they have all that they need. But then how are we going to balance everything? So that's the battle that parents are facing right now. Yeah.
Jesus,
that's true.
They should calm down. We've started on a hot seat.
I'm not sure now there are those who are watching who were dreaming of becoming positive parents, or who are praying. They are now in novena to pray for a positive parenting in these days. But just listening to the words of Celestine and the quotes of Nicole Steins, they may think that we have to change our minds right now. Professor, like she said, parenting is a call. It's actually a vocation. Nicole Stein also sound like parenting is a demanding responsibility, challenging responsibility.
True.
Yeah. So parenting itself is a battle against who?
Well, there are different battles. Parents can fight, children can fight, but coming to that question, I would say in the society there are some risks that may even be harmful to the children. So the battle to me is against the risks by parents and children, such that the risks that would otherwise be harmful to the children can be mitigated. So that is what Celestine has been explaining. All the battle is to mitigate the risks that would otherwise be harmful to the children in parenting.
Wow. Now how parents are supposed to cope with this?
Well, they must be active. There are risks, as I have mentioned, and to be active means a lot. When you are parenting, there is a certain wise person that has said that all that is needed for evil to triumph is good people to do nothing. If you know you are a good person and you are not doing something, then you are giving a seat for the evil to triumph.
You can say that again.
Yes.
Turn up the volume.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all that is needed for evil to triumph is good people to do nothing. So when you are a good person and you are not doing something in parenting, then you are creating a seat for the evil to triumph. So what is needed is that parents should be active and positively active, because also sometimes, probably we are going to talk about it, but sometimes parents may be active but not necessarily in a positive way, supporting kids. And mostly, by the way, although I'm teaching at the university, I also co-founded an organization which has one of the programs is positive parenting. In fact, we have even a school that demonstrates positive parenting. The school is the Lead Hill School, that is in Gasabo district. And we are building on two main things where parents can be involved. One thing is that parents should be building on empathy, but the other thing is that also parents should build on mindfulness. When we are raising our children, in terms of empathy, we are supposed to be seeing things through the eyes of children. As a child, how is the child going to behave? Because a child cannot behave like a grown-up. So that empathy should be developed by parents in positive parenting. Then when we talk of mindfulness, this is thoughtful rather than reactive. If you want to do something about what probably your child has done, you think what is going to be the impact about the behavior that is identified by your child, for example. So those are two main things that should be guiding our parents in as far as parenting is concerned, and positive parenting, empathy and mindfulness.
Recently, I was with a dad, a friend of mine. He told me a story, a very funny story. He said that he went the previous night, he went to his daughter's room. Then he found that the daughter had the laptop, and the music was louder, and also at the same time she was busy with the phone on TikTok. Then later the following day, the dad had to cut off the internet connection.
Yes.
If we look at traditional parenting style and the digital parenting style, is there some similarity, or how do we see the two? Should we go back to traditional parenting style, or should we enjoy the digital parenting style?
I don't think we should go back to the traditional parenting style, but what is traditional that is not useful should be discarded, and what is useful from the traditional way of doing things should be uploaded, should be advanced. But the main difference is that traditionally they are things that have not been happening, and they are happening today. So we should cope up with what is happening, because that is what is directing us parents to how we should behave within the situation of parenting in, for example, a digital society, a digital world. And they are good examples. They are good examples. For example, social media, as you have mentioned, it has not been there, and that means traditionally we did not know how to handle it. And as I have told you, in the work that is done in the organization we founded, for example, Lead for Tomorrow, we are talking about media, for example, but we need to help our kids in interpreting what is shown in media. our kids should be accompanied. If, for example, you have...
Sorry, in the media or social media platforms?
Exactly, the media in general, including social media, well, we are talking of TV, we are talking of internet sources. All those, our kids should be accompanied. At least they will, you know, interpret with failure to positive interpretation. But when we have our kids and accompanied by our interpretation, they will be helped, and they will be in a position to understand what is in social media, what is in the media in general. We are talking of a situation, for example, where we are talking of rights of children, and probably the rights that have been developed today are not the rights that have been emphasized in the past traditionally. I'm happy to mention that Rwanda has advanced, for example, in the rights of children. We have different policies, we have different laws, and we have even also to help our kids based on religiosity, based on our Christian values. So all those are put together to help our kids. But the main important thing is that when our kids are interacting, when our kids are, you know, researching in whatever they do on internet and so forth, we need to make sure that we know what is happening. If your kid is watching TV, you need to know what is happening with the remote control. Maybe watching, is the kid watching pornography that may be very heavy, too heavy for the person to digest? Is the kid watching probably the best way of using drugs? All those things are important to be interpreted. And what does it demand again? It demands that a parent gets enough time or creates enough time for the kids or for the kid. Otherwise, if you don't have enough time, you will not even know what the kids are doing. And also, enough time may not be very important, but you need to know how to use that time. We are talking of a situation where, for example, as parents, we are mostly involved in work. As Celestine has mentioned, you find in the Rwandan society, for example, a couple of, we say a family. A family can live in 3 places currently. You have, for example, a husband is working in the Karongi district, wife is working in Nyagatare district, and the kids are staying in Kigali because maybe they are thinking this is where the best schools can be found. And so you find, how are you going to interact with your kids or help them in media, in social media, when you are in Karongi as mother, and when you are in Nyagatare as a father of the kids? So we have a lot of challenges, and when we are discussing, for example, in our organization, we think we should begin from early childhood, and this is also in our Rwandan culture. We say when you want to help a kid, you begin when a kid is small. And also research has made it clear that a kid's brain development will develop about 85% during the period of birth, between birth and 5-year age. So that means when you help a kid at that time, even when you are away, the kid will know what is good and what is bad, and that is the most important. Otherwise, if the kid doesn't know what is good and what is not good, then you are going to get the kid confused and will be involved in what is not necessary for the development of the kid. So again, we are supposed to have our families supported by experts, And also what we have come up, like in Lead for Tomorrow Rwanda, the organization we founded, I have told you, is that we support parents to know how they can help their kids. And we encourage them even to come up with an atmosphere that is respecting the kids' rights. And you know, when we are talking of kids' rights also, as a lawyer, you should mention that we have instruments like the African Charter on Rights and Welfare of Child. And in this charter, you find there is an orientation. Whatever we do should be in the best interest of the child. And this is what is in Article 4 of the of the African Charter on Rights and Welfare of Child. But also this is in our laws. For example, Article 9 of the law relating to the protection of child in this country. You find it is compulsory that parents help, and the word that is used is guide. So they should guide their children. So parents or caretakers or guardians. And again, we are supposed to know that the Rwandan law also is beat on this. Because if, for example, you consider the law on protection of the child, we are getting a situation whereby abandoning or neglecting a child is criminal. So if you have a child and you have abandoned or you have neglected your child, you can even be prosecuted. And even the punishment is not all that light, because it goes up to a penalty of 5 years that cannot go beyond 7 years in prison, and you can even pay some amount of money as fine. So all these have been done by the government of Rwanda, by Rwandans in general, to make sure that the interest of a child is the one to be considered in most cases when you are dealing with children, not to be selfish, because the children are supposed to be weak parties in the society.
Wow, a child on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Celestine, coming back to the example that Professor just shared with us, a mother who is in Nyagatare and a dad is in Igatsio, but the children are in the city, busy with their schools, and the parents are busy with their job, their work. So how, in this case, how a child can be helped? Because if they are not helped, we find for alternative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Naming par excellence the social media, the technology. So how, in this case, how a child must be helped?
Oh, that's yeah, it's not easy, as I said earlier, that parents are torn in between, because the economy demand is also very high, and like most of us are career people. You find a mother is a career woman, the dad is a career man, and all of them think that by working hard, no matter where the job takes you, is how you're going to give the best to your children, or the best way you can provide for them and ensure that they have even the kind of education that you want them to have. For example, you working in Karongi and the other one working in Butare or wherever, and the kids are in Kigali, because most of us believe that Kigali, being the capital city, has the best schools in town, has the best schools in the country, and has the quality education that everybody yearns for. But now our children are left at the hands and the mercies of the nannies, of which some of the nannies we hire are they're not educated, or they're not even trained and skilled people on how to handle the children. And social media has become like a parent to some of these children. And if I reflect back, during COVID-19, some parents had to go to work. So the best thing they could do was just to install internet in their houses and provide all the gadgets, the electronics that the children needed. So the children were left at the mercies of electronics, which was not guided. And there are several cases that came out of that, because I'm not there as a mother, the father is not there, this child can access internet and can do anything that she or he wants, can search anything, because some of these nannies are not educated, therefore they won't come and check, like, what are you typing, what are you writing, what are you searching for? So the child learns a lot of things through the internet, through the social media handles, because some people are out there to make money. That's their job. The YouTubers, the bloggers, some of them do a lot of things just to earn a living, because also we know we are in an era whereby people are rendered jobless, and whatever that you can do to earn some money, you will do it. So we have a lot of things going on in internet because some people have made it a source of income. So these children needs a lot of support. These are the children who seek attention, and sometimes they seek attention through disorder behavior. Yeah, you find maybe in a school there's a child who is always destructive. There's a child who is always he's always on the wrong side of the school rules and regulation. And sometimes it's not that the child wants to do it, but he lacks the attention that he needs. Some children behave the way they behave because they are seeking attention that they don't have. Because, for example, we have busy parents, so these children are left at the mercies of, they have a driver, a designated driver, who drops them in school, picks them in school, a nanny who picks them from the driver from the car to the house. These nannies also, some of them have their own things they want to do. And what they do is, oh, he's from school or she's from school, switches, does whatever or provides snacks and then switch on the TV. They don't even check what the child is watching, but for them, they want the child to be busy so that they can also be busy with their own things. So before you know it, your child has acquired a certain behavior that you as a parent, you come over the weekend, you hear some language in the house and you're like, wow, where did my child learn this? Who do you run to? Where do you start? You understand? So these children, and this is what we face as teachers every single day. And sometimes we have to understand, why is this child behaving the way he or she is behaving? This is a child, sometimes when you look, you realize, oh, daddy comes home late at night, the child is already in bed. Daddy wakes up in the morning, goes before the child wakes up to go to school. So the dad doesn't know what's happening in the child's life. The mom doesn't know what is happening in the child's life. Later on, the child is a drug addict. Later on, the child is even stealing. And you as a father, you'll be like, I've provided literally everything that the child wants. I don't know what happened. I don't know where did I go wrong. And this is the question that everybody is asking today. Children have become drug addicts. They've become the notorious ones. They are being expelled in school, suspensions every now and then, and you yourself, you're like, I've paid school fees, I provide food, they have a car, they have a driver, what next? These children need attention. And how are they going to get attention if you as a parent, you are not present? So our children need our presence every single day. Otherwise, we are going to bring premature adults in the future. They need a father figure. Why do boys need a father figure? They need a model, somebody to look up to. Girls need a mother to tender to their needs. Because remember, a child at 5 years maybe doesn't have any kind of developments in the body and stuff. But then as they turn to teenagers, as they become teenagers, there's a lot of changes in their bodies, and they need someone to be present and tell them it is normal. This is normal. You are growing, you understand, but nobody's there. It's the nanny. The nanny will be like, gender ukore, you know, all those instructions in Kinyarwanda, and the child is confused and left there and is like, now what next? Comes to school, become rebellious. You wonder, why is this boy or girl becoming so rebellious? Because the parents are not there. So these children grow up like on their own, trying to figure out life on their own. So as much as the economy is driving us crazy, and we think that's the only way we can provide for our children, one thing we need to remember, our children need our presence. They need us to be involved in their day-to-day lives. So if you can create time out of your busy jobs, or if one can sacrifice, one parent could sacrifice to be present in these children's life, could play the role. But when both of them are not there, believe me, these children are going to grow up to be something else, not what you vision. I've heard so many parents are like, I have doctorate, I have masters, how comes my child is like this? How comes my child is not performing in school? But how? When you look at it, the question I ask is, do you spend time with them? Have you ever sat down with them to find out what's happening in their lives? Because for them, they don't care about the PhDs and the doctorates that you have. Being a professor, being a doctor, what they need is my mom present in my life? Does my dad know what is happening in my life? I watched this and it's cool. Does my dad approve of it? He doesn't care. He doesn't know. And I challenge you right now, do you know your sons, like you both are parents here, do you know your son's best friends? Do you know the people they hang out with? Do you know the kind of games they play in school and what kind of activities they are fan of? So if you don't know, please go and ask them tonight. Start being present. Yeah. So the children need the presence of their parents than anything else. As much as you're providing, be present. Get involved. Have dates with them. You know, in African culture, most of the times we are like, they have food at home, but sometimes they need attention. Why do I insist on dates? Even boys. You've seen even right now we have organizations that are now fighting for the boy child. Because even initially we used to have a lot of girl child fights and stuff, and then we neglected the boy child. But then the realization hits us hard that even boys need attention. So as a father, get time, go out with your son. Just don't talk about academic, talk about life. Get to know what's happening in his life. How does he feel growing up? You as a dad, how does he feel around you? What are the areas you need to improve and to get your relationship better? I'm a mother of a daughter, and my daughter is in the university right now. And yeah, she's in a different country, I'm in a different country. But anytime we are together, I make it very intentional that we do mother-daughter dates all the time. I get to know what's happening in her life. I get to know, because sometimes I feel so guilty. Actually, those dates are guilty ones because most of the time I'm away. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. You might be working away from your children, but the time you're spending with them should be intentional. Not again, we've talked about digital. You get home, this is a weekend, you've come from Karonji, you're still on your computer, you're still on your phone, you're still on your tablet, you're still, so these kids come, Daddy, oh, wait a minute, I'm finishing something. Mommy, oh, yeah, I'll get back.
You have been in Karonji.
Yes, and then you come home again with work. My friend, leave work things in the office. When you come to spend time with the children, let it be children's time. Let it be intentional. Get to know, because sometimes, yeah, work demands, because also sometimes you're like, now, if I don't do this job, how will I provide for them? But when you come home, please let it be intentional. Be with your children. Get to know how they feel. Get to know how they have been, but not getting in, because if initially you ask about ancient, like the old days and the current days, of course we are in a dynamic world that is changing, and we have to embrace the change that is happening right now, and we have to prepare our children also for the dynamic changes of the world, and that is the future, because we are heading to a digital world whereby we cannot say we are still going to stay in the olden days. Yeah, they have to, like the way we had the digital migration. Yes, so even the kids and the mind and everything.
From analog.
Yeah, from analog to digital. Yeah, but now, let's say, for example, we miss the olden days because we would all interact, talk, when we go to the table to have lunch or dinner, we would all have a conversation, a hearty conversation, you know. And you know, games like draft, games like chess, games like Scrabble, now they are dying because we've got phones. Daddy has a lot of messages to reply. You bought for all your children tablets. They get home, they have their games, they are playing on the game. So nobody pays attention to the other. Everybody is busy on their own. So these gadgets are the ones that are now killing relationships. Because the time we are supposed to interact, the time we are supposed to share and get to know, the child is busy on the tablet or TikTok, wherever, then you are there, hey, can we do this? And it's like, no, there's a game I'm playing, or I'm chatting with so and so, I can't leave. Yeah, this kind of life is what is now killing our families and killing our parenthood. So as a parent, be wise. Know that you can even, some people do have rules. When we get into the house, you can play with your phone up to this time. From this time to this time, no more phones. It's time for us to sit down as a family, chat, either watch a movie or have a snack together, you know, sit down together and put all the phones away. Just before I conclude, there was a story, like a child. So the child in school was asked, what would you want to be? Then she said, I wish I was a phone. Yes. Then the teacher was surprised. Why would anybody wish to be a phone? The child narrated her story and was like, I wish I could be a phone because my dad will never put me down and my mom will never put me down. They will always be having me at their hand and in their pockets and everywhere they go. What does that tell us? This is what the child experiences, because every time she wants to talk to the mother is busy on the phone. Every time she wants the attention of the dad is on the phone. So she feels like it's the most important thing. So if she had the power to change herself, she would definitely change herself to a phone. Okay. So that everybody could. And another one said, whoever introduced my mother to a TikTok should come and cook for us, because it has been 2 days. Mother has been on TikTok and not cooking for us. Eat. Yeah.
But by the way, the most important thing that we have talked about policies, laws, and what. But does Bible say something about parenting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have 2 verses to share. One for the parents and another one for the children.
Yes.
When you look in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, it is indicated that, I quote, train up a child in the way he or she should go. Even when he or she is old, he or she will not depart from it.
Exactly. Yeah, you train them the way you want them to.
Yes, you train them the way you want them to be, according to the values, again, of what you think is positive. Then, for the kids, it is in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 to 4. I quote again, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, that it may go well with you and you may live long in the land. And this is practical. Because we know also kids that do not obey. So it's not a one-way thing. You talk to someone, but we also have to teach our kids to obey. So mainly parents have a lot of workload, so much that even when we are talking of training, we should train our kids to obey us, lest they will just ignore us as if we are not even important. They know what, they may know what is important more than we do. Like parents also, as Celestine has mentioned, you may blindly consider your phone to be important than your kid. And that means it is going to be detrimental because your kids are not. In fact, all this that is needed when we talk of creating time for your kid is to create familiarity with your kids. And the familiarity that is built on friendship. I also remember this story that because in Lead for Tomorrow we have a program of positive parenting, and we have sessions with especially parents whose kids are from birth to 5-year age. And one of the mothers told us that familiarity, friendship with the kids is very important. And she narrated the story of her daughter who came to her and narrated that someone, a grown-up, an adult, wanted to have sex with that daughter. And she was in fact sort of seeking advice. How should I behave in such a circumstance? And the mother had to advise, you know. But if there wasn't that relationship, there was no communication, and you would find out or would not even know what has happened. Yeah. But that was a prevention. You say, please, this is how you should behave in such circumstances. And you know, the definition of a friend is that person that will help you tear from nothingness. That person that will help you grow positively. Nothingness, usually the theologians and the psychologists will term it as nihilism. So when someone is helping you to come out of nihilism, then this one is your friend. So the best parents, I mean the best friend a kid should have is a parent.
Yeah. And another thing that we should remember is there's no formula in parenting. So everybody should play their part and just try your best, because there's no book you will read about parenting that will, because whatever works for me might not work for you, and whatever works for you might not work for me. And as you see, also we have a lot of young people committing suicide today. This is something that we need to ask ourselves why. And some of them have lost their self-esteem. Some of them have also feel like they have been abandoned because the parents are not there, are not present. So the olden days, you know, people used to think, like all of us, if we reflect back how we grew up, there was a lot of corporal punishment. Like a parent would come home and instead of even asking what happened, why did it happen, why did you do this and that, the next thing they just realize there's a mistake somewhere. You will just be slapped back, forth and right, and you're like, you don't even have time to explain yourself. That is in the old days, and that should be left there, because like right now they know their rights, and because of what is also happening and the exposure to social media, children feel like we need to be heard. We need someone to listen to us. If something went wrong, sit down with your child. Try to listen to their child. You remember even when we were growing up in schools, in primary schools, some of us back then, you'd see a teacher coming from this direction and you'd run the other direction. There was no interaction between students and teachers, because you'd know, oh man, if I meet this teacher, things are not gonna be right here. And like right now, as a teacher, I'll tell you clearly, I interact with my students like nobody will run, even if they're doing their things there and you're passing by there. Sometimes I feel like they don't even acknowledge that somebody's passing by, an adult. But which is also good, because we have created an environment and a relationship with children whereby they feel safe around us, they feel comfortable coming to us, and like back then. Because if I would see my teacher and I run away, who will I go to in school to talk to about my problems or something that is happening. So even parents should be create that relationship. Actually, it's very important. Be friends of your children. Don't think that children are getting spoiled when you listen to them or when you just have a date with them, because sometimes they just need to be heard. So to avoid a lot of these rebellious behaviors, our young boys and girls committing suicide or losing their self-esteem or feeling like they are abandoned and rejected, is just listening to them, getting to know what's happening in your life. That's something that is very necessary right now, because there's a lot of pressure even for the young people, because you find teenagers at some point they reach a stage whereby they're suffering from identity crisis. They're trying to find who they are in the society. This is where also our children get into peer pressure, because from internet they can see, oh, Kim Kardashian is doing this. I really want that kind of shoes. Maybe your financial capability.
But when we are talking of parents, in the parenting, in fact, we don't include only parents and the guardians.
Yeah.
We are very much interested in people like teachers. This is one of the reasons, in fact, why we founded Lead Hill School. Because we counted the hours kids spend with their parents, especially in the city. Because in most schools, when you have a kid will be dropped, these days you can drop them at 8. It even used to be earlier than that. And the kids will be picked in the evening, some at 5, at 6, around there. When you take your kid home, you are going to be with the kid for about 2 hours before they sleep, or even less, 1 hour. So the time that is spent by parents with their kids during working days is very short time. And this is why we should have also this positive parenting extended to teachers, because teachers spend more time with kids than parents. So when we are talking of positive parenting, we need to talk about how the situation is in the schools. How are the teachers? Because the teachers are supposed to be extended parents in the school.
And even that's why Celestine was invited.
Okay. Good.
Let's think about a situation whereby technology, parents and economy, or the jobs that the parents are doing, and they become busy and they can't find time for their children. They are in a course to find just whose fault, because the children are the victim. Whose fault? The technology may say that, you know what, I'm just here to help the parents to make their life easier. Then the parents may say, okay, no, it's the fault of, it's not me, it's just the economy. I need a job. Then the job may say, you know what, they need me so that they can find money to pay school fees for their children. Then whose fault? The children are still
the victims.
They are victims of circumstances.
But among these three, whose fault?
We can say that there's anybody who is at fault, because you know, when you go to argument and wait for this child to come from school and spend time with her or him, how will I pay school fees? So I need to go to work. This child will also be like, I did whatever that I do because my mom is never there or my dad is never there, so nobody cares for me. I'm being left in the hands of the nanny. That's remind me, as you were talking about nannies, it was also something in social media that this child goes to the mother and asks the mom that, Mom, why do you always lock your room as you go to work? Then the mother explains, you know, because I don't trust the nanny 100%. So if I leave the door to my room open, she might get in and steal some of my stuff. And then the child asks the mother, and that is a very honest question. If you don't trust her with materialistic things, why do you trust her with me? So the material things that you have in your room are more important than me. Answer that question as a parent.
It's complicated.
Very, very complicated.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, as this one is also complicated. But Aula and Prof. Dennis, don't you think it's time to make the parent-kid relationship migrated from analog to digital? What if just the technology guru start developing the apps, the parenting apps? I've seen e-parenting, I've seen many other
There are so many. There are so many.
So many applications.
There are so many.
Why can't we just start promoting those applications? We are in a digital world.
Yeah, we are in a digital world, yes. And there's so many apps. And you know, like right now, things like ChatGPT, when you go there and you ask, how do I handle a child with this and that? It will give you all the options. Let me tell you the truth. Yeah, the digital world has made everything easy, and like everything available. Any question you want to ask, they play with our IQ. But when you come to the reality, you find things are different as from what we are reading. Or for you to become a good parent, you need to do this and that and that. Then you look at all the options you are being given, you're like, will I really have time for this? Especially if you're an old school, you'll be like, this is a crap. I can't do this with my kid. So we can, as much as the digital migration from analog to digital, everything has changed, but the fact remains that we need to be present in our children's life physically. Whether we can do it virtually because the circumstance you find yourself in, okay, for example, a life of a soldier would understand. This is a person who is in a battlefield, cannot go with the child. But whenever you have an opportunity to spend with your child, let not the internet and social medias be the parents in your child's life.
Yeah, but you have asked a very good question. To me, technology is like the tongue. In Kinyarwanda, we say the tongue is important, but it depends on how you use it. You yourself, if you insult someone, do you blame the tongue or you blame yourself, the one that is insulting? If I say something that is detrimental to you, to the society, I don't blame the tongue, I blame myself because I'm using it. That's what is supposed to be done in the case of technology. The technology is very helpful. I'm happy that it can. I give an example. I think a few years ago, I was working for an American Bar Association as a consultant, and we happened to travel to Kinshasa. And at home, my kid had a homework that the people at home could not handle. I happened to be understanding French lessons, and not anyone from the family would have been helpful to the kid. So we arranged and we did the homework online, you know, like video conferencing, and we handled the matter. That is something that could not be possible probably without technology. But we are also talking of a kid who is ignored or neglected, as we have even mentioned that it is even criminal, and will be doing whatever he wants. And we know that a kid at a certain stage will not be in a position to discern what is worth doing and what is worth discarding. So when we don't help them, we are really supposed to be blamed in those circumstances, because you are talking of who to blame. We can blame a parent who neglects a kid, and a kid will use technology in events that are going to be detrimental. But I don't think we are going to blame technology. It's like when we are using technology in a way that is not meaningful, is like a mad person. You know, a mad person, from the definition of my secondary school teacher, I said, when a mad person is, when a person is mad, is only mixing points, but it will not miss points probably, but mix them. So you bring points in a situation where they are not needed, but they are points in a certain situation. So mad people do not miss points, but mix them. That's what makes them mad. So when we also get, when we get information and use it in a situation that is not going to be helpful for the kid, we are behaving like mad people. We are mixing points.
Wow, very important. Also, the choice is yours. You have to choose wisely, but children still want parents for having a brighter future for not only the family but also for the world. We need a safe society. We need safe communities. So with this, we come to the end of our today's show. We discussed about positive parenting in the digital world. I hope that you learned a lot about, from our discussions. So allow me to thank Dennis, Prof. Dennis. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Celestine, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Feli HT. Stay blessed. See you next time.